How has improvement in technology made doing this much easier for distributors?
Well, first is a common format. I mean, that's the first issue. Whether you use a software program or not, having a common format is one of the key things, because otherwise, you'll get the stuff documented on napkins, the back of expense reports, and on a piece of paper. Some other people might try to build their own little software, on an Excel spreadsheet or something. So the first thing that having a system and technology brings is if you have a system that's company-wide, then you've got everybody documenting in the same format. Now what that does is when you pull these reports together, you're trying to compile these reports across the company into one report that you can then give this customer. Let's say that the customer that you're dealing with has 2, 3, 10, 20 locations, whatever it is. If everybody's documenting differently and you've got to pull this stuff together, without a common format, it takes a tremendous amount of time and effort to pull it together, particularly as the customer gets larger and there's more locations involved. So one of the things it does is it helps cut down the amount of time and effort it takes to compile the reports to be able to take into a customer. I was talking to one company, and they told me that it takes them, in some cases, days to be able to pull all the stuff together from across their salespeople just for one account, where they've got 2 or 3 people trying to pull this information together because they've got to go give this final report. On top of that, there was a draft study a few years back that basically said that more and more people have these large multi-year contracts. And in order to keep those contracts, you've got to give this type of report at the end to prove the savings. And that's getting to be a bigger and bigger issue. So technology has allowed this to create that common format and pull this stuff together. I mentioned a software program earlier called SalesStrat. Now this program is web-based. It helps people document savings. You can share ideas and records to help document a solution that was done in one place, either for the same customer or even for a different customer. So what it does is it makes the documentation process easier. It also helps with accountability. You can see who's documenting, which salespeople are documenting, which aren't. You can do savings by customer or plant and send these reports to the customer. If you've got savings goals, you can actually put in contractually obligated savings and make sure you're meeting them, which is a critical part if your customer is requiring you to come up with savings and you may have to cut a check at the end of the year. You can run reports by industry across customers as a means to open doors to new accounts in that industry. The bottom line is what the technology does, whether it's SalesStrat or some other program, what technology does is it makes it easier to document, can save times in compiling reports to prove why you're the supplier of choice, either to an existing account or a new account, and allows you to use it to build in accountability. We now have a number of companies, large and small, using it, such as ABB, Parker-Hannifin, Hubbell Power Systems on the manufacturing side, distributor side, Graybar, Ferguson-Woolsey, Lewis Getz, Falcon Metals, Or Safety, MRC, and a number of others. Why are they using it? And it all comes back to the control it gives them and the amount of time and effort it can save them to be able to prove why they are the supplier of choice.
Tim, could you comment as well on the increasing role of mobile devices, especially with the sales force? I mean, has that had an impact as well on employees' willingness to do this?
As a matter of fact, I just gave a presentation to a distributor who just gave their entire sales force. Now, this is I'll say small, mid-sized company. I think there were probably about 15 people that got these iPads. Why? Because the iPads they can use pretty much anywhere. They're quicker, they're faster, they're lighter. And so it makes it easier for people to do the documentation while they're at the customer. One of the things that you can do with SalesStrat, for example, is you can actually sit down with the customer and go through a series of questions with the customer, and it'll pop out the savings. You can create calculators around vendor-managed inventory or any type of product to be able to just go in and ask them 10 questions, and then, boom, it'll knock it out. And then you can also put in pre-done text. You can actually give them a report via sending a PDF right there while you're sitting with them. So that's made it a lot easier to actually do the documentation because you're sitting with the customer in some cases while you're doing it.